You have mentioned that you looked up to your grandmother that raised you. Tell us some wise words she gave you that you would use this day.
I still look up to my grandmother, right?
Okay.
And so, wise words, that would be more so like if she said the same things over and over again. But I think there were so many lessons that I can't just like select one thing that she would say. She always talked about her upbringing, and her upbringing is what shaped my thought process the most. And so some of the things that she would talk about growing up in the 30s in Mississippi, like just how tough life really was, growing up on dirt floors and, all that type of stuff. So, I have no room to complain, right? Because they had a way harder time. And then, you see people making excuses for why they don't have this and that. She was always instilling in me, like, you can make it happen. You just got to get up and want to do it. Can you imagine it, right? And do you have basically the discipline to go get it? And if you do, you can make it happen. So there's a lot of different things she would say, but it's her lifestyle. And I watched her, work all the way through her 80s. They forced her to retire because she was a nurse. And everything started switching from paper to computer. Her eyesight wasn't that good, so there was a bunch of issues there. So they forced her to retire. If she could, she would still work today. And she's 90 or 91 this year, right? So that type of spirit, that type of mindset, that type of example is what propelled me to do what I'm doing right now.
So is it, you say also, would it be her her work ethic?
Absolutely, her work. It's the work ethic, yes, but it's the spirit behind it. So there's some people who have work ethic and they might be working for money, work ethic for whatever reason. But she truly loved what she did as a nurse, and you could tell because she wasn't just a nurse while she was at work. She was a nurse all the time, always taking care of people. And so the spirit behind what she did and the fight that she had, because not only was she a nurse, she marched with Martin Luther King. She did all that type of stuff, when she moved to California, she was on whatever the board was to help the Hispanics to vote. So she did a lot of different things because she cared for people. So I'm in an industry, obviously, where I show that I care for people. I wanted to go the nursing route. I wanted to go and be a doctor. I wanted to join the military because you just want to go help people, right? And so her lifestyle was more so not just work ethic, but the spirit behind the work ethic and why she was doing what she was doing.
Okay. And that kind of goes to how did you obtain this grit that you speak about often?
Yeah.
And then the other second question is, how does one obtain this grit mentality?
Yeah, I think there's a lot of different ways to get the grit mentality. For me personally, it's actually going through the fire. My father was in prison my whole life, basically in and out. My mother had me at 17. There was a lot of different scenarios where I'm not supposed to be here right now. And so I was exposed to a lot of different things early on. Luckily, I had my grandmother who took me in at 2 years old and raised me from that time forward to keep me, out of certain things. But the grit comes from me. The grit comes from actually doing the thing. In sports, we have in football, we have a thing called the bull ring. The bull ring is where everybody gets in a circle. You put one person in the middle, and whoever comes hit you, just got to be ready for it, right? Not everybody succeeds in the bull ring. I know I was one of the successful ones, but not everybody even wants to do that, right? But once you actually go through that, because you're going to get knocked down and you can get back up. And sometimes you'll knock somebody down, but it's just going through that fire. It makes you tough. It makes you understand that when I'm on the football field, I have a whole team with me. It's not me against everybody. And so that's one way that they taught us grit within sports. And sometimes life is the same way. So you feel like you might be isolated and you keep getting hit and so forth. But if you get back up, right, and you start to make those connections with the people that can help you and so forth, you start to realize you have a team. You build the grit by not quitting, right, and then going after whatever it is you're going after. You build your team up and then you go pursue whatever it is. So the grit comes from actually doing the thing, whatever it is that you want to do. And there's a TED Talk. I forget her name, is Asian lady. She does a TED Talk on grit. It's worldwide at this point. When I first went to medical school for chiropractic, the very first assignment we had was on grit, not on gross anatomy, not on the CNS. It was on grit because they wanted us to understand that if you're going to pursue this or anything else, that you're going to have grit to do it. And I understood that, so I understood why they gave us that assignment. Because a lot of people, we hit a wall and it's like, oh man, I'm done. We turn around instead of just pushing through just a little bit more to get to the other side of success.